Okay, so we're going to look at a quick example on string manipulation. So move myself out of the way here, open up the problem for you. Write a class that asks the user to enter a word and outputs both the original word and the word spelled out in the reverse order. That's the problem we have. I'm going to start on paper by sort of identifying what main would consist of. So in main, we would need to assign a value to the function getWord that would get the word from the user and then save it in some string, probably word. So I could identify that as a string. And then I'll have another function called reverse word that takes the letters in the word and reverses the order of them. And that function again would return a string. And then we'll output the results. Output results here in some sense could just be a print statement, so maybe I wouldn't need a function. I'll put it as two separate print statements, so I'll use a method to do it. Okay, so first I'm going to run over to Eclipse, and in chapter 4 we're going to create a new class. You could follow along here if you wanted, or just watch and then do it. I don't know the best way to do it. If you can follow along, that would probably be helpful for you. String manipulation. And we'll click on public static void main. Opens up my class. I'm going to clear this out. And I'm going to set up sort of what we just did over here in main. My pseudocode. String word equals getWord. String reverse. Maybe I'll call it reverse word. No, that's what I'm going to call it method. So let's call it reverse. And then reverse word, does it have any parameters? It does. It actually, we need to send that word to it so that we can reverse it. So I missed that over here in my pseudocode, but you could always add it back in, or as long as we put it in here, we're fine. And then output results doesn't return anything. So we don't have to make an assignment, and it has two parameters. We're going to send the original word along with the reverse word. So a couple of things I could do here. I could comment out the second two methods and make sure the first method works. Or I can just set up my method headers and make sure my overall logic is strong. So I think I'll just do that. Public static void. Actually, getWord returns a string, so I need to put the type of the method here. String getWord. No parameters. Open it. I won't put anything in it. Oh, it wants a return statement. So let's return an empty string. So that its type is still string, and now that method is set up, and we don't see an error either in main or up here in this method. And then public static, let's see, reverse word also returns a string. String reverse word. It gets a string as a parameter. Let's call it, I guess I can just call it word here as well. I'm going to open that method up. And then it's looking for me to return something here, so I'm going to return again an empty string to set up the correct type for that method. And then finally, output results. This guy does not return anything, so it's type void. And output results contains two parameters, the first of which is the string. Here, let's call it our input inward, and then another string, which is the reverse word, or outward. And I'll open this up so you can see it, and then this is a good time if you wanted to type this in. You could pause the video and get that code going for yourself. If not, or after you pause, we'll go back over here and look at our pseudocode again. So in the pseudocode, I want to write each of the methods, get word, reverse word, and output results, and not necessarily write them, but sort of figure out what we want to do in each. So for starters, in get word, we're going to need a scanner, and then we're going to need to prompt the user for input, and then we're going to use that scanner to return the word. So we're just going to return console.next. So that essentially is the method get word. I'll go over here and write it. Because I'm going to use a scanner, I'm going to come up here and import java.utilities.everything. I can comment here for the scanner. Come in here to get word, scanner, console equals new scanner from system.in. We need to prompt the user, so that's going to be a print statement. Enter a word. And then we don't actually have to read this into a word. We can just return. We could read it into a word and then return that word, or we can just return console.next. And again, you could pause here if you were typing this in yourself, or we could go up here and check that this part of the code is working. And in order to do that, we would need to print that word out here. So I'll run this. Here's my cat, Rio, saying hi. Oh, sorry. Okay, we run that. Enter a word. So this is Rio. He wants to participate in the video. And we printed it out. And he's going to go back down. Okay. So that part of the code is working. I'll get rid of the print statement up here. And no, stop. Sorry. And now we're going on to reverse word. Okay, so in reverse word, come back over here to my pseudocode. You know, we need to loop through the length of the word and sort of get each character out of the word and then add it to the front of a new word. So if you think about having a word, you know, R-I-O, you want to grab the R and put it in the new string, and then grab the I, and that's going to go in front of the R, and then grab the O and put that behind it. So the reverse of this, you would first put the R in, and then you would put the I in front of that, and then you would put the O in front of that. Okay, so we're going to try that. Get each character in the word, loop through the length of the word, get each character in the word, and then add it to the front of the new word, which we're calling reverse. And then we're going to return that reverse word. Okay, so how are we going to do that? Go back to our Eclipse. So this guy's getting the word in here as a parameter. And we're going to write a loop for integer I equals, so here I want to start at 0. I less than the word dot length. I plus plus. And so what do we need to do? Well, going back to our pseudocode, we're going to need this word reverse in order to add these letters to. So really up here, before I start looping, I need a new word, new string, reverse. So go back into our code here. Prior to this loop, string reverse, and I'm going to set it up as an empty string so that I can add letters to it one at a time. Okay, and then within this loop, we want to get a letter at each index. So that's going to be word.character at I, and we want to add that to reverse. So plus that to reverse, but then we want to store this guy back in reverse. So the reverse word is going to equal the character that we're at plus the rest of what we have already stored in reverse. Okay, and then that should loop through the length of the word, and then we would return that reverse word. And again, if you want to pause here and think about that for a second, you can. Or I will jump back up here to main, print that word, and make sure that it's working. There's no real way to see if this is working without having some kind of print statement in here. I guess we could finish the whole program and then see if it's working, but that defeats the purpose of sort of the iterative programming process. Okay, so now we're going to run it. Enter a word. Let's go with Rio again. And now it's printing reverse OIR, or OIR, exactly. One thing you might want to think about is, why did this become a less than the word length? If you think about the word Rio, it has 3 letters, so its length is 3. Because we're starting at 0, it's character 0, character 1, character 2. I is less than 3, so 0, 1, and 2 will get all 3 characters in reverse. All right, and now we only have one more function left, which is output results. I'll take this print statement out of there. And we'll come down here to output results. And again, like I said before, this doesn't really need to be its own method, but I'll kind of, depending on how you wanted to output it, I'll output it in this form. The input word is, the reverse of that word is. So system.out, print line, the input word is colon space, and then maybe I'll add to that the word, and then add to that a period. And then the reverse of this word, same thing, add to that the reverse. Oh, I called it inward You know, I don't know if I need to have different names here. Let's just call them word and reverse again. Since we're not changing these, I don't see that there's a big deal. Reverse. I'll add to that the period as well. And our code should now run. So I've separated each of my methods with a white space. I should have one there. And we'll tighten up some of the other space that's in here. So I got our main calling 3 methods. Here's the first of those 3, second of the 3, third of the 3. We'll run it. Enter a word. Let's go with Rio again. The input word is Rio. The reverse of the word is Oir. Good. This is probably very similar to, or this isn't very similar to, this is how you would do one of the problems on your homework, which is a palindrome. A word that is spelled the same forward and backward, like mom. The word is mom. The reverse of that word is also mom. So one thing we could add to output results here is we could test if it's a palindrome. How would we do that? If, okay, what do we need to do? We need to check if word and reverse are equal. So if word dot equals, maybe ignore case because they might capitalize the first letter and that would still be a palindrome. If word dot equals ignore case of reverse, then system dot out dot println, this is a palindrome. And come down here, we can say else. This is not a palindrome. Noticing here, I could have used just dot equals, and that would test if I didn't have a capitalized letter that those 2 words are equal. But in case the first word, the first letter you enter is capitalized, I'm ignoring the case because it would still be a palindrome. Okay, run it again. Try Rio. The input word is Rio. The reverse of the word is OIR. This is not a palindrome. Run it again with, let's go race car. The input word is race car. The reverse of the word is race car. This is a palindrome. Yay, I like palindromes. Okay, so that's our string manipulation method, class, in which we took a word and reversed its order, and then I actually changed output results to kind of check if it's a palindrome, but we don't have to change the name of it. I will post this code up on Canvas in our in-class code. Again, if you're gonna utilize this code, I would not copy it. I would actually type it back in because it's better for you to be practicing this code rather than sort of copy and pasting. Okay, I might try to put together another video here in a few minutes, so stay tuned.